The former Polish president Lech Walesa has joined protests that have broken out across the country over plans by the populist ruling party to put the Supreme Court and the rest of the judicial system under its political control. The EU and many international legal experts say the changes would mark a dramatic reversal for a country hailed as a model of democratic transition over the past quarter century, and would move Poland closer toward authoritarianism. The president of the European Council, Donald Tusk, a former Polish prime minister, had on Thursday accused the ruling Law and Justice Party of dragging the country back in time. The party has defended the changes as reforms to a justice system that its leader, Jarosław Kaczynski, said was never properly purged of former communists after that political system collapsed in 1989. Walesa addressed protesters in Gdansk, his home city, and where he led strikes in the 1980s against the communist regime that eventually toppled the government and ushered in democracy. The 73-year-old recalled those democratic changes, saying that the separation of powers into the legislative, executive and judicial branches was the most important achievement of his solidarity movement. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest protest against Supreme Court legislation in Gdansk. Photograph, Agencia Gazeta, Reuters. You must use all means to take back what we achieved for you, he told a crowd that included many young Poles. The 1983 Nobel Peace Prize winner also said he would always support their struggle, appearing to rule out any leadership role for himself in the protest movement. He was welcomed with chants of Lech Walesa and "We thank you." His appearance came after Poland's upper house of parliament approved a Supreme Court overhaul, defying the EU and critics at home who say the legislation will undermine democratic checks and balances. Tens of thousands of protesters had gathered earlier in Warsaw and cities across Poland for candlelit vigils to protest against the draft bill, as the Senate debated it late into the night. Some protesters carried Polish and EU flags, chanting, "Free courts, to become law." The proposal still has to be signed by the president, Andrzej Duda, an ally of the ruling Conservative Law and Justice (PiS) party.